Hey YouTube and caymanas Park Turf Fights. Welcome back to Down the Stretch. I'm the host, Christopher Charlton. Hope the new year is treating you guys good so far. We have a 10 race program for Saturday, January 11, 2025. And to me, it looks like a fairly easy program, but if we're all fans of racers, you know, when a program looks easy, that's when the upset strikes. So let's get into it. The first race, the Little Ascot OTB Trophy. It's for 4-year-olds and up, optional claiming, 350,000, 250,000, and native bred 6-year-olds and up, nuns of 2. We have 12 starters, 5.5 furlongs is the distance. Boiling this down to 4. The 1, Traditional Boy. The 2, Last Dance. The 4, Zion Princess. And the 9, Conundrum. Okay, Traditional Boy. Put in a good run back in December 15th at this level, when finishing second by a length and a half. The Phenomenon 1 came back a week later, up in class, was prominent all the way to the furlong pole before fading into 6 by 7.5 lengths to Maya. Another week right after that, came back down to 250 over the straight 5 course, beaten 10 lengths by Sabina, and then in just 4 days ran over the straight again, finishing 7 by 18 lengths to Phoenix Risen, up in class at 550. He's now back down to where he's comfortable. Much raced in the past 4 starts, so that definitely says he is fit. Laris Allen still has the ride here, and going back around the bends, I think Traditional Boy should have a say in the mix-up, even with the top weight. The 2, Last Dance. Richie Shakes claims 4 kilos for Michael Marlowe, so coming in lighter than his allotted weight. Last good run was back in October 12th, when finishing third by 5 3/4 lengths to Brampton Alex. Came back after that in the 26th of October, beaten 6 by 12 lengths to 4-5er. That was in 5-year-old non-winners of 4. So basically, he's stepping down in class. She is stepping down in class. Busy at the exercise track. Last work coming to this was 3 furlongs and 39.2 breezing. So I think coming in here fit. So let's see how Last Dance runs. The 4, Zion's Princess. Javier Sybil rides, claiming 4 for Howard Bailey. A no-show back in November 30th, when finishing 15 by 36 lengths to Simba the Lion at 6.5. But just before that, his run at the start of the year, last year, was 5th by 4 lengths to Great Wayne, 5-year-old nuns of 3. Kept busy at the exercise track, coming into this race, 37 3 out the straight and last. Expecting a much better run at a good price from Zion Princess. And the 9, Conundrum, who I think is the definite class of this event. And Wayne Fong J3Y has requested for me to show his last start, how he came out of the starting grid. So we're going to look at that now. So as you can see there, had a complete disadvantage at the start. So he was beating 16 by 47 lengths in that race, and he was carrying 128 pounds because of Kevin Krieger. Before that, on September 29th, was in the Typewriter Trophy in overnight allowance, 10 by 20 lengths to Sistine Treasure. On the 8th of September, at a million claiming, he was a second by 4.5 lengths to Storm. So definitely down in class. Andrew Wright has the ride for Marlon Posey. Busy at the exercise track, and from a clean break, I think definitely Conundrum looks like the horse they're going to all have to beat. Yeah, so those are the 4 I'm going to work with here. The 1, Traditional Boy, the 2, Last Dance, the 4, Zion Princess, and if all goes right with Conundrum, I think that's the horse they have to beat. The second race, Pump Up OTB Trophy, native bred 5-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3, and imported 5-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2, small field of 6, 5.5 furlongs. Boiling this down to just 2, they are the 1, Uncle Nub, and the 5, Equinox. Okay, Uncle Nub. To J. Suko, claiming 4 kilos for Victor Williams. Back on November 23rd, over the straight 5 course, was caught and beaten right on the line by half a length by Digital Light over the straight 5. Came back a month later, showed speed once again over the straight 5, outclassed here by Bulletproof Coffee, and was just a neck behind Equinox. In that day, carried 122 pounds and a Radish Roman. Equinox steps in here now with 118 pounds, so he's a pound lighter than the last time he met, but with the claim on Uncle Nub should be coming in better off at the handicaps. Equinox on December 14th was second by 3 3/4 lengths at 5.5 to Manny Slam. Came back a couple of weeks later and was second in that same race with Bulletproof Coffee. Speedy Sorts. So the main 2 horses in this race are speedsters, and I think they are the ones who should control the entirety of this race. But if they decide to go into a speed duel death match, if there was supposed to be a surprise in the race and somebody run them down if they get tired in the stretch, I'd lean towards the 6, Pretty Caroline. But other than that, I think this is a 2-horse race. The third race, Maggie's Sports Bar OTB Trophy for native bred 5-year-olds and up maidens. 8 starters and they go 6 furlongs. I'm going to boil this race down to 3 horses. They are the 2 Ansatak, the 5 Medal Award, and the 6 Sicario Man. Okay, Ansatak. Good race on last over the straight 5 on December 28th. Was 4th by 4 1/4 lengths to Clowning Around, Medal Award, and Sicario Man. But if you rewatch that race, the jockey was having a hard time with this horse. You know, it was all over the place, was hindered at the start, and I think from a cleaner trip here and the additional journey, I think this Ansatak will put in a much better run. The 5 Medal Award, Tevin Foster for Norman Smith, looks like the horse they're going to have to beat. Was second in that same race by a half a length to Clowning Around. Was right with the pace the entire trip. Last time at 6 furlongs was December 15th, when second by 8.5 lengths to an outer class looking Garland, in which he had a bunch of these horses behind in that race. Before that was third on November 30th to Beautiful Moon, when there was no speed horses to go with Beautiful Moon, and he had to settle for third. So definitely look like the horse they're going to have to beat. And the 6 Sicario Man, Aaron Sactre Farm, Alfonso Harris, also coming out of that race, was coming from off the fractions in that same race over the straight 5, close from 8 lengths at the quarter pole to lose by 3.5 lengths, third to Clowning Around. Getting 6 furlongs now, more real estate. I think we're going to get a better showing here from this Sicario Man. For in case one of these don't make the trifecta, outsider to put in the trifecta, I think would be the 8 Security Code, Roger Hewitt for Errol Burke. You know, not the best looking horse, but I think is comfortable against this group. So if one of my top 3 doesn't make it, I think that's a decent horse to squeeze into the trifecta. The 4th race is the Rimsky Trophy. Native bred 3-year-old, non-winners of 2, and imported 3-year-olds and up maiden. Small field of 5, 6 starters are going to just boil this down to 2, and they're the Jason DaCosta pair. The 1, Fred the Master, and the 5, Gervano. Okay, Fred the Master. Nicely bred horse out of Mitol, out of But For Money by Not For Money. Robert Halladine gets the ride here. This horse has been blazing the exercise track. On the 14th of December, galloped 4 furlongs in 46 by 59.3 out the gate. Came back on the 28th of December out the gate 47 by 59.4 with Rico. And the final work coming into this race on the 4th of January went 5 furlongs in 59.2. So it looks like a very speedy horse in the making, this Fred the Master. The 5, Gervano, was the favorite on last, the 21st of December, when running up into a Supernatural Power, who won by 14 lengths in a smart 111.3. But something to note about this very well-bred son of Gervin out of Summer in Midway by Summerfront. Gervano is built like a stair. It looks like he wants a distance of ground. He has this big, long stride. And I think the further he goes, I think the better he's going to be. But it's 3-year races, so I don't think any races up to a mile comes out yet. And I think he's very fit, so I think Jason is running through the motions. But he looks like a very decent horse in the making. So just carrying those two, Fred the Master and the 5, Gervano. The 5th race, Portmore Entertainment OTB Trophy, 3-year-olds and up, claiming 1 million to 800,000, 10 starters, and they go 6 furlongs. I'm going to boil this race down to 4. They are the 2, Storm, the 3, Power Ranking, the 5, Nakamura, and the 6, Burning Valor. Okay, Storm, Samantha Fletcher, claiming 2 kilos for Ricardo Brown. Last start, November 9th, at 6.5 furlongs, was 5th by 11 lengths to March and Shoot, Taurus Boy, and Sunny T and Chippy at 1.2 million claiming. Before that, on the 8th of September, at 7 furlongs, made all the running to win by 4.5 lengths over Conundrum and Regal and Royal. So capable at this level, coming off a slight break, but has been working coming into this race. Had a gallop on the 4th of January, 4 furlongs in 51.3. So definitely seems to be sound and fit, and expecting Storm to run his usual good race. Although I think he'd prefer 7 furlongs, but I think he can handle 6 furlongs. The 3, Power Ranking. Can't seem to get it right, this Power Ranking. Prefers the straight course, but gets Richie Shakes to claim 4 kilos for Lawrence Fremantle. 6 furlongs look a little out of his reach. He's basically running over the straight or 5 to 5.5 furlongs, but fairly comfortable here at a million claimer. Does seem to like to start the pace, and with his light impulse now, I think definitely has a grand shot of getting the job done here, especially seeing him at the exercise. So I think he's definitely sound and fit coming into this race. Power Ranking, dangerous horse. The 5, Nakamura, Dane Dawkins for Errol Burke, also comfortable at this level. His last win was at 750 at 7 furlongs, beating Shiboom and Sir John. Stepped up in class, 1.2 million, and was only beaten 3.5 lengths by Milos and March and Shoot. So I think he definitely can run in this grade. Last time out, December 24th at a million claimer, was 4th by 9 lengths to Warshaw, and Power Ranking going 5.5. Think relishes 6 furlongs because he has a win back in September at 6 furlongs, beating Generational and Brinks, and with Dane Dawkins in the saddle and still busy at the exercise, I think Nakamura will put in another very good run. And the 6, Burning Valor. Burning Valor, recent winner at a mile on December 24th for 4-year-olds and up, now known as a 4. And I think that fits in line here with a million claimer. So, and he's very fit, still very active, busy at exercise, so I don't think soundness is going to be a concern. And I think he's really finding himself now, as he has fully matured now. He's now a 5-year-old. I think another good run from Burning Valor at a good price, with Emilio McLean claiming 4 kilos for Greg Fennell. Good run expected from the late kicking Burning Valor. For Superfecta, if I had to squeeze somebody in the Superfecta, it'll probably the 9, Alexa's Lodge, although 6 furlongs is asking a little much of Alexa's Lodge, but has been running in overnight for most of his career. Comes down to claiming still can't find a win. Last win was back in December of 2023. But as outside a shot with Tevin Foster up, I think Alexa's Lodge could squeeze into the Superfecta. The 6th race, East Queen Street and Ocherius OTB Trophy, native bred 5-year-olds and up, non-runners of 4, and imported 5-year-olds and up non-runners of 3. Field of 12, they go 7 furlongs. I'm going to boil this race down to 4 horses. They are the 1, Brown Skin Girl, the 2, Lion Charmer, the 3, Wizkid, and the 9, Wayne's Princess. Okay, Brown Skin Girl. Morning line says 30 to 1. Jason DaCosta, Abigail Abel, claiming 3 kilos. So this horse is coming in very light. Definitely has the pace of this class. She just has not been running up to par in recent times. Had a rest, came back on the 7th of December, beating 32 lengths by Kem and Huntsman. So definitely needed that run. 7 furlong on the short side for this Brown Skin Girl, who I think likes it longer. So we're going to definitely see if Brown Skin Girl is going to come here and run an improved race. She has been working pretty well at exercise. On November 30th, galloped 7 furlong with Lucy in the Sky in 1:33. So Brown Skin Girl expected to put in a decent run at a good price. The 2, Lion Charmer, I showed recently on my horses to watch. This horse was hindered leaving the 3 furlong in his last start. Lost some ground and was still staying on, only beaten 3.5 lengths by Burning Valor at a mile. Still very focused here. 7 furlongs is ideal for him. On December 7th at 7.5 was third by 5.5 lengths to Kem and Huntsman after being slowed into stride. Now claiming 4 kilos for Richie Shakes. This Patrick Lynch Lion Charmer is fit as hands can make her, and I think she's going to definitely put in a capital effort. The 3, Wizkid. Wizkid, last win was back in June at a mile, beating Natural Dance and Mr. Senator. Looks very fit right now. Last run was second by 3/4 length in that same Burning Valor race at a mile. A good run back at 7 furlongs on November 9th, when only beaten a length and a quarter by California Goal. So Robert Halliday gets right here for Donovan Dude Hutchinson. And the Wizkid, busy at exercise. And if the pace decides to come back in the stretch, we know that Wizkid will be the one finishing the best. And the 9, Wayne's Princess. Uville Pinnock for Gary Griffiths. Okay, Wayne's Princess. Perfect distance for Wayne's Princess. On November 9th at 7 furlongs was second by half a length to California Goal. That they had Wizkid behind. Came back at 7.5 a month later and threw in a clinker. Was 9th by 21 lengths in the same race with Kem. Came back 3 weeks later at a mile. Was only beaten 3 lengths by Burning Valor. They put him at 5.5 on the 28th of December. Finished 8 by 14, which I expected because this horse prefers more of a mid-distance sprint, which is 7 furlongs. And just the way how the trainer is programming this Wayne's Princess, sprint and then carrying back to middle distance, I think he's perfectly tuned for this race. Very fit. I think he's sound. I think 7 furlongs is the perfect distance for Wayne's Princess. I think the dynamic of the race sets up nicely for him. He's going to be just off the speed, so probably can make the first run on horses like Wizkid and Lion Charmer. He might get that first move on them. So if he does that and gets away at the top of the lane, we could see Wayne Princess running out the winner here. For superfecta purposes, if I wanted to squeeze some horses in it, I'd probably use the 6 Strike Smart. Was right up in the pace and last before fading in the stretch, beating 7 3/4 lengths at 5.5. Stretching out now, which I think might help. Philip Hartman retains the ride for Philip Elliott. Could be a dangerous horse in this for the superfecta. And the 12, Natural Dancer from the Gear Sobriety stable with Dane Dawkins up. Lots of speed. Probably going to be the horse that's going to go in front, and the horse are going to have to catch. The only reason I don't have this horse in my top 4 is because they've removed the figure 8, and he has run most of his races. As a matter of fact, he has won 2 out of his 3 races with the figure 8, so that's the only reason I don't have Natural Dancer in my top 4. But I think he's going to be on the headlines and probably prove elusive. but that's left to be seen. Yeah, so my top four are 1, Brown Skin Girl, 2, Lion Charmer, 3, Wizkid, and the 9, Wayne's Princess. If I was going to buy in this race, I think I'd probably bet on Wayne's Princess. That's the horse I really like. I think he's programmed for this race. The 7th race. This is for native bred 4-year-olds and up and numbers of 3 and imported 4-year-olds up numbers of 2. Very small field of 5, but a very competitive race. This is for the OTB Appreciation Trophy, 7 furlongs. And believe me, this race is super competitive 5-horse field. The only horse I would rule out of this race is the 4, Princess Aquila. That's the horse I don't give a chance in the race. But the other 4 in the race, I think any one of them can win, to be honest. Any one of those. Zulu Warrior has the pace of this class. He'll be the horse running on. Jay Spieth, although just coming to this class, is very, very fit right now. Radish Roman for Patrick Lynch. The 3, Queen of Soul, definitely has the class here. Has run with much better horses. Definitely in my top selection. And the 5, Miss Cherry, also has the pace of this class. Throw that last race out, might end up being the horse that has the speed in the race and could be the horse that sets off in front and prove very tough to catch at 7 furlongs with Ishmael Velasquez. So I think any one of these 4 can win. So I think I'm just going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to work with Queen of Soul. I think she has beaten better horses than this, especially if you look back on the 28th of September when finishing second by 3.5 lengths to Impressive Force. Although disqualified in that race, she had a lot of good horses behind her. She's a God gift behind. She had Riches to Rag behind. She had Mac and Rome behind. She had Teflon Don behind. She had a lot of good horses behind in that race. And a reproduction of that run, given the extra furlong, I think Queen of Soul can get the job done. So that's going to be my top pick here. Any of the other horses can complete the exacta, to be honest. You know, Miss Sherry could go to the front and prove hard to get back to. Jay Spieth possibly can just get into him own and stalk Miss Cherry and end up get the lead. Or they go too fast and Zulu Warrior runs them down. So it's a very competitive 5-horse field. And I'm going to stick it. I'm going to go with Queen of Soul. Queen of Soul is my top pick here. And as I say, any other ones can complete the exotics. The 8th, native bred 4-year-olds and up, maiden, 7 starters. It's for the J&C Gaming OTB Trophy, 5 furlongs round. And I'm just going to boil this down to 2. The 2, Big Pop, and the 6, Fort Haldane. Okay, Big Pop showed his well-being on last over the 4 furlongs straight, beaten only on nose by Rapida. So we know he's fit right now. They're running 48-1. Gets Roshane Lewis to claim 4 kilos off his top weight. So going around the bend now. It is interesting to see how Big Pop perform. He's cantering, so I don't think he's going to have a problem going around the bend. And the 6, Fort Haldane. Robert Haldane for Spencer Chung. And last was 4 by 4.5 lengths to Military Light and Late Sarasuta. 2 very fit horses at this distance. Lacks pace, although bred for speed. But I think that's the horse I think they're going to have to beat, this Fort Haldane. For trifecta, I was going to squeeze a horse in it. I would put in the 7, Yorkist, with Ishmael Velasquez for Colin Ferguson. Showed speed on last December 28 over the 5 furlong straight. Hit a brick wall in the final furlong and a half. Better for that run, I would say. Is active at the exercise. Definitely has a lot of speed, so possibly going to jump right to the lead when the gates open. And if he doesn't fall like a dead bird like he did on last, will probably take a lot of catching. So that's how I wind it down. I'm giving the edge to the 6, Fort Haldane, to get the better of the 2, Big Pop, and exotic, the trifecta, I give it the 3rd to Yorkist. The 9th race, New Crossroad and Clock Tower OTB Trophy, native bred 4-year-olds and up, downers of 2, and imported 4-year-olds and up, maiden. 8 starters, 925 yards the distance. I'm boiling this down to 4. They are the 2, Titan Tempo, the 4, Lucy in the Sky, the 6, Seaplane, and the 8, the General. Okay, Titan Tempo. Ultra fit and consistent colt from the stables of trainer Philip Fiani. Robert Halladine has the ride here. Second in his last 2 starts. Was 4.25 lengths behind Train of Thought at 7.5 furlongs. And after that was second by a short head to Smart Trick at 6.5 furlongs. Stretching out now to 2 turns, which I think this Titan Tempo should enjoy. Does have pace, but he's not a front runner. So this milder pace going this far, I think it's going to suit him. He's not going to be going against any 47 or anything like that. So I think Titan Tempo will be able to relax, going 9 furlongs and 25 yards. So I think he should see out the distance. The last time he went a distance of run was a mile on the 17th of August when finishing third to Rosetta and Brenda Boy, only beating a length and a half with 125 pounds there. So I think the 925 shouldn't be a problem to Titan Tempo. Should enjoy this very relaxed pace, and definitely looks like the horse I think they have to beat. The 4, Lucy in the Sky, relishes the 2 turns. Her last run at 2 turns was 9.5, beaten at nose by Kaylin Melody. Had the General 9 lengths behind her that day. Possibly might go right to the lead here. And if allowed to relax, and Tevin Foster gets her in a nice, comfortable motion up front, could prove a very tough horse to get back to from the stables of Jason DaCosta. Big shot here from Lucy in the Sky. If Titan Tempo decides to hook up with Lucy in the Sky and they decide to turn to a match race, that could set up perfectly for a horse like Seaplane. He has 2 starts at this level now. Last time out wasn't that bad. It was 4th by 9.5 lengths in the race with Train of Thought and Titan Tempo. Going this 2-turn run now with pace in front of him. Is a late runner, comes from off the fractions. So if they do go too fast too soon, I think the horse finishing the best is possibly going to be the Seaplane. And the 8, the General, also likes to come from off the fractions. Was third in that same Kaylin Melody Lucy in the Sky race at 9.5, beaten 9 lengths. But as I said, if the pace sets up, he's probably one of those running on as well. So those are the 4 I'm sticking with. The 2, the horse they have to beat, Titan Tempo. The 4, Lucy in the Sky, dangerous if she gets loose on that lead. The 6, Seaplane, if the pace goes too fast, he'll be flying. So too the General will be running at them late. The 10th and final, this is Santa Cruz and Overton OTB Trophy, native bred 3-year-old maiden special weight. Nice field of 12, 7 furlongs. Boiling this race down to 4. They are the 2, Prince Roy, the 9, Mark My Identity, the 11, Runaway Star, and the 12, Sensational Soul. Okay, Prince Roy, well bred out of Here Comes Ben by Princess Shine. This one is owned and bred by Fitzroy Gillespie. Yuval Pinnock has the ride. Active at exercise, nothing too flashy, but is busy at exercise, so that's a good thing. The 9, Mark My Identity, shown this one recently on Horses to Watch. This horse had an awkward start and still chased home Honor Prince. Was beaten 9.25 lengths, but give him an excuse for coming out to the starting gate slow. Still managed to finish second. Comes in here with Richard Henry to claim 3 kilos for Enos Brown. Expecting a good run from this Mark My Identity. The 11, the horse I think they're going to have to beat, Runaway Star, well-bred colt out of Northern Giant by Runaway Gal by Legal Process, trained by Jason DaCosta. Robert Halladine has the ride here. This horse has been sizzling at exercise, working most of his works with recent winner Stormbringer. He had his most recent run work with him going out the gate, 5 furlongs, 46.2 by 59.4. He came back, galloped 5.5 in 107.3, and his last work coming into this race on the 4th of January, 6 furlongs in 114.1. I think he has passed all his tests coming into this race, so I think this Runaway Star is the horse they have to beat. But keep in mind he's making his debut, and youngsters, you have to tread carefully. And the 12, Sensational Soul, Shane Ellis for Gary Sobrati. 1 start so far, 6.5 furlongs, was 4th by 10 lengths to Strong Mind. And even though Strongman came in the 2 year stakes and led all the way to the final furlong and a half. So that's saying good things for this Sensational Soul, who was the even money favorite on the 15th of December. Working well. Worked at 5.5 in 108.4 by 102. Last work was on the 8th of January, paced 6 furlongs in 129 and 4. They have now put on the figure 8 on this Sensational Soul. Bred for a lot of speed. A much better run is expected. So I'm boiling the race down to those 4. They are the 2, Prince Roy, the 9, Mark My Identity, the 11, Runaway Star, and the 12, Sensational Soul, giving the edge to the very forward-looking and working brilliantly Runaway Star. Okay, guys, let's hope the races turn out the way we want. As I said, the program to me looks easy, but most time a program looks easy, that's when the surprises happen. So let's see if we can go out there and catch some winners. And as usual, be safe.